Okay, so I have a full video coming out on this car and stuff, but just want to make a quick walk around. This is what I'm doing, what I got going on right now. Picked this thing up for $700 2 days ago, and it's got 227,000 miles. It's in fairly good shape. It's got a couple dings here and there from hail, which you can probably see on the hood rippling. The roof doesn't really have many. The side pillars do a little bit, so I'm guessing it was under a tree or something. But the hood and the trunk have a little bit of hail. And then the side panel has a couple dings right there. But there was a good dent right here when I got it. But you can see it's gone. It's gone now. I pulled it out with a Bondo dent puller. It's like a $9 thing from Walmart. But the big thing is the rear bumper got crushed somehow. The taillights are fine. The side panels are fine. This taillight got pushed in a little bit. I just have to pull it back out. And then right here kind of got paint flaking now, which I just have to pull that back out and sand that and paint it. But just the rear bumper got destroyed. It was like that when I got it. That's why I got it so cheap. It's locked. It came with 2 sets of keys, which is nice, and they both work. I bought some Goodyear floor mats from Walmart and a nice steering wheel cover for it, just because. It's the SS. Came with regular headrests, but I got these for free from the guy I bought a rear bumper from. He gave me these. So that was awesome. They're not cheap. Good condition, heated seats, all that. Sunroof, everything works. I hate hail damage, but this one really doesn't have too much. And the hood and trunk are definitely replaceable very easily. Roof, not so much, but there's probably 3 or 4 on the whole roof that are actually noticeable. And there's a couple on the side pillars, but back seat's in good shape. Got the floor mats back here. I got to detail it still. But the thing runs super good. Drives really good. It definitely needs rear struts. They are loose, kind of feeling. You can see the hail on the hood here. But yeah, you can replace a hood. I mean, $200 to get you a black hood, primed black hood. So, little crack right here. I'm going to go ahead. I have some really nice bumper stuff that I use to fix a lot of cracks like this, and you'll hardly be able to tell it was there unless you're right up close. I'll mold it right back together with this stuff that I have, and then this clip in here is broken for the fog light, which I'll mold that back together, and you won't even be able to tell this was like that. It'll be something like that, but a lot farther away. You won't be able to tell. Otherwise, besides this fender right here, the rockers are solid. There's a little bit of rust starting on the rear back spot right there. And then just a little chip of it right there. And then obviously that. So I did go ahead and order a new fender last night. 2 nights ago, I ordered that fender, this fender, 4 brand new all-season performance tires, which are going to look super good on the car because they're not this ugly, giant, fat sidewall. This side's in good shape. A little bit of rust on there again. But like I said, I ordered the fender. But otherwise, the rockers are good. There's a little bit of rust starting right there, but they're pretty good. They're pretty solid. Then again, just a little bit back here, same spot, which I can fix. Very easy. It's just surface. So minus some hail and a little bit of rust, it's in good shape because I got a new bumper in the garage. It is just a regular bumper. It's not an SS, but I don't really care. It looks a lot better than that, so I don't really care. But the problem is with this car, it started up, idled great, super smooth, and it drove great until you tried to use throttle at all, like 30% throttle. It would just buck and get pissed off. So you really couldn't accelerate, otherwise it would just freak out, and there was no engine light or nothing. So I had no idea. So I pulled the spark plugs. I put the red wires, by the way. Pulled the spark plugs. Cylinder 2, 3, and 6 were all cracked, and this thing had the original plugs in it at this many miles. Battery's good, everything else is fine. Had original plugs, so I did what I could to get it running because I was in the middle of driving. So I pulled back home, and then obviously I need to fit this headlight a little bit better. But I was pulled right back home really quick. I had some used spark plugs in the garage, mismatch ones, because I needed this car to get somewhere. I threw them in. They were for the W bodies, but they were mismatched. Like there was 2 Autolite, there was 2 NGK, and there was 2 copper basic ones. So it accelerates awesome now for the most part, minus I believe it has a clogged cat, because it accelerates good until you pin it, when it has to downshift, and then it downshifts and goes, but it just like it accelerates super slow. Like it sounds like it's trying really hard, but there's just nothing there. So that's a big sign of a clogged cat. And now it's throwing an engine light, so I'm going to scan that. I'm guessing it's an O2 code or an emissions code, because I just filled the tank and that's when the code popped up. Might not have clicked the gas cap all the way, I don't know. But so I did those mismatched plugs all the way, so obviously they're all a little bit different gap, a little bit different wear, so that's not good, and different type. But it accelerates fine now, no bucking or anything. But it idles terribly. It bobs up and down and kind of clunks up and down idling. So my guess is that's just the mismatched plugs, because it idled amazing before I changed them, but it accelerated poorly. So kind of it's switched. So it needs this. You can kind of see. You can't really tell. I can move that. I did go ahead and order 2 poly mounts, the dog boat poly mounts. I ordered a rear motor mount, the 2 fenders, brand new tires. And I think that's what I ordered so far for now. Oh, and a valve cover gasket. It's not like a active leak where you can see it, but if you pin it for like a few different times, you can kind of smell a little bit of burning oil. So, but there's nothing on the ground or anything like that. It doesn't lose coolant. Coolant's at the same level. It's dirty. It needs a flush, but I did the red wires. I already had these laying around. They're this JDM Speed 10.5 wires. They only sent me 5. They were supposed to send me 6 for this car, because they were for a GTP, so they should have came with 6, only came with 5, so I had to reuse a wire I had from a previous GTP for the 3-cylinder, but it's fine, and it's a decent condition plug, or wire, I mean, so it's fine. It's not 10.5 though to match, so I did contact them, and they are sending me another one. They were very apologetic, so that's good, but all the fluids are good. I'll show you guys the oil here. Oil's good. Kind of see it there. Everything's good. So it doesn't lose any coolant or anything like that. It does get a little hot when you're idling for more than like 3, 4, 5 minutes, because the cooling fans don't work. They don't spin. They don't turn on. So I'm guessing they're as bad. They're not locked up, because I can spin the propeller with my hand down here. Like I can spin the propeller with my hand. So they're not locked up or seized. They spin very freely. You barely touch it and they spin. But I'm guessing the motor in them just went out. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about ordering that, because it still runs at about 180 degrees until you just idle in traffic when it's decent out. Like if it's 20 degrees or below, even if you're idling, it doesn't overheat. It doesn't overheat anyways. It just gets right up to the half mark and then goes back down once you start driving again. But these run a little cooler than that half mark. So I do have a ZZP 180 degree thermostat in the garage. I'm also going to throw in tonight. It goes in right here. You can kind of see it hasn't been opened up in a while. So like I said, right now I have the thermostat, put the wires on. I just bought plugs from the store today, just some basic auto lights, just to throw on. I got some stuff to paint the new bumper, because the bumper I picked up was white and it was $40, so I got some GM paint and scuffing pad, little paint spray to try out. And then I have a wool cutting pad, but I needed a polishing pad and like a swirl remover, so I got that. And then we got the spark plugs down there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The engine is still too hot because I've been driving it, so I'm not gonna do the spark plugs tonight. Unfortunately, I'm gonna do them tomorrow. It's supposed to be 40, almost 40 tomorrow again. That's why everything's melting here. So that's nice. Then I can come out here in the sunlight and do the plugs. And I like doing it out here because I have a lot more light than in the garage. And in the garage, it's just kind of annoying. And plus, right now, the manifold's still super hot to the touch. So don't want to be touching those with my hands. And I have gloves on, and the gloves kind of suck. So I like doing it with my bare hands. You can kind of tell I was doing it today. The red's all fading. The red's kind of all fading, but my hands are all burned up because I did it earlier today, and I'm not doing it again. My forearms, whatever. I'm going to do a custom fender well intake. I'll make a whole video on how to do that. This is supposed to be a flip car, but my dad did go ahead and pay for the tires for me as like a little surprise. He felt bad about taking his truck back. I was like, Dad, it's your truck. Take it back whenever you want. I'm thankful for using it. So, but he was like, no. So he ordered me these really sweet tires. They're, I don't know what brand. They're a decent brand, and they're really nice tires. And I got all 4 of them coming. So I'm going to throw those on because these front ones, all these tires have good tread, but they have weathering on the front. So I don't want to deal with that. And then I am going to be ordering rear struts here this week to throw my lowering springs on. And I'm ordering the front ones too to throw my lowering springs on. It'll have new suspension all around. I have a brand new wheel hub in there, so put that on one of the front ones. Whichever one I feel is bad or worse, I'll put it on. When I have the wheels off, I'll decide. And then I did go ahead and order brakes all around. So I've ordered a lot of stuff for this, and I've only had it for like 2 days. I ordered drilled and slotted rotors all around and ceramic pads. Like I said, the fenders. I have LED lights in the garage to throw in these. I'm going to clear these up and see what we can do to this car while I have it. And I don't really want to sell it. I think I'm going to drive it for a little bit, make some content with it on the channel. It's kind of cool. Minus the hail damage, it'll be in great shape once I have the new bumper on and the new fenders on. It'll have no more rust. And yeah, what do you guys think of it? $700. Runs and drives great as it is. It just doesn't idle good now. But fix that with some actual good plugs that are even. It just has mismatch plugs right now. Really bad mismatch plugs. So that's obviously going to be the idle issue, because it idled great before I changed out the old plugs, because they were all the same, just really terribly and cracked. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get in the garage here. This needs to cool down overnight before I do plugs again. I don't want to burn my hand and wrist anymore. But and I don't believe that's an SS grill. I think I'm gonna order the SS grill too. I don't think that's an SS grill, at least. I don't know. I could be very wrong, but I've never had one of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this back in my bag. Get in the garage and get started on that bumper, because that one's ugly. Hey girls. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited to whip around in an Impala SS for a little bit. Maybe that's a sign I'm gonna get an LS4 Impala. Not really, but watch out, Bells. Here's the bumper. I have it upside down right now because I'm about to start scuffing. Get my light on. All right, so here's the bumper. Sorry for the long video. There's gonna be no cuts in this. I don't want to edit it. Just get an update video for you guys. I have a whole actual video coming out with my actual Canon camera about the Impala. I'm gonna get started on this, and that's what's going on right now. Got this for the bumper, and I got some LED headlights to put in right here, and a couple other things here and there, and then my stuff I'm waiting on in the mail. And all this rust on the inside of the bumper, it's old metal from that previous bumper that he just cut off, so it's not, obviously the bumper doesn't rust, it's plastic. All right, it's the next day driving here. My hands are completely beat up. My whole entire arm is all cut up on both arms, but the car's running flawless. It runs so good. I got the new plugs in, all matching auto lights. I'm just driving home from the exhaust shop. My exhaust guy, Exhaust Pros in Wade Park, Minnesota, he does all my work, and he does a lot of stuff for me that's not even exhaust related. Like my crash guard, or whatever, the reinforcement behind the rear bumper was all bent, and that's the reason the bumper was all jacked up, the stock bumper. So I put the other bumper on that I got, but it didn't fit, not even close, because the crash guard was all jacked up, and that's why. So my bumper I got didn't fit. There's just no way it would go on, because the crash guard was jammed all the way to the left, so it was way off, like probably 4 or 5 inches off, and it wouldn't even, there was no chance it was gonna fit. So he cut that for me. He cut like 6 inches off the crash guard, or the reinforcement for me, so I didn't have to take it off or anything like that or get a new one. He just cut it off for me. Super awesome. He did it for free. It's just crazy good. But he also cut out my cat for me, because my cat was clogged, and he put a light in the other end. You couldn't even see the light. So it was like 85% clogged, which is, yeah, not good. But you can see now, get on it a little bit. She goes. That was just probably quarter throttle. Sounds good. I can hear the supercharger. Exhaust isn't loud. He cut the cat out and welded in some stainless pipe, but you can't really tell the difference. I mean, there's a little bit more of a growl at idle, but I mean, it's basically the same. So if your cat's clogged and you can't afford to buy a new cat, just cut it out. Just have an exhaust shop cut it out. A lot of places won't do it, but you know, Exhaust Pros in Wade Park, he always does. He'll do anything that, you know, you pay him, he'll do anything, really. So he cut it out, and $40 later, I'm out the door. Car's running awesome. My spark plugs are in. my wires are in. But the reason I'm making this update is the car is running awesome, but it started misfiring when I was almost to the exhaust shop, and I was like pissed off. I'm like, what now? I just did plugs. It was running so good, idling good, driving good. So after he cut it off, I popped the hood and checked all the plug wires. I checked the rear ones first because those are the ones I figured I'd screw up. No, it was cylinder one. The whole wire was off the plug. It was barely hanging on. So I don't know if I just didn't get it to seat properly. But these JDM wires, they look good, but they're very hard to get. Like, they're not hard, but like, I don't know what to say. The quality of them like seating onto the plug is not as good as OEM. But I got it on there and go from there. But yeah, it's running good now. So that was a problem. Thank God it was just one of the wires came off, because I wouldn't have known what to do. But yeah. All right, rear bumper's on for the most part. Yeah, I don't know. It looks decent enough to give the car a good wash now, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fully sand it down tonight and paint it. Actually, like the right way and take my time, but I'm just gonna have to cover up some parts of the car so it's not, overspraying on the car. But it's on, and we're gonna give the car a quick wash. You guys saw how dirty it was, so let's kind of see if we can get it clean for probably $5. Probably put $5 or $8 in there. I'm definitely gonna do under the hood too, and yeah. My ABS light and traction did come on, so I don't know, but I don't really care about those lights. They don't really bother me. She's looking good now. There's just steam coming out of the engine bay because I cleaned it. Obviously, I just got home a minute ago. She's looking good. Sounds pretty good too, actually, at idle with the cat delete. Bumper's looking good. I wouldn't even know that that's not an SS bumper. Apparently they're different. I don't know. I think they are, because that one did seem like it had a little bit of extra lower valence or something. Needs more paint, like needs a good paint job, but it's better than a avalanche gray or whatever that color was bumper, and it's better than a completely destroyed bumper. Looking good. All it needs now is the front fenders because of that little rust on the bottom of each one, but that doesn't even bother me. So now my next task is I'm just letting it run so everything dries under the hood, so nothing freezes under there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put in my HID or LEDs. I forgot which ones they are, but headlights. They're gonna look really good. They're not the whole housing, just the bulb. I'm gonna go ahead and restore the housings, and they're gonna look really good. So here's a before at that. Next video, you'll see the difference. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty proud of this thing so far.